The neighbor asked not to be identified.
He brought it up in conversation, asked if I had heard about the murders, and which I did, and then he said, yeah, it seems like they have no leads. It seems like it was a crime of passion. At the time of our conversation, it was only like, a few days after it had happened, so there wasn't much details out.
FYI, that video clip that I just added is from a new video that just came out. I don't know if that's the same neighbor that we're going to be talking about in this article from Insider, but just a heads up. What is up, it's iCkEdMeL, and Insider interviewed one of Bryan Kohberger's neighbors, and it's pretty odd, some of the interactions that they've had with each other. Bryan Kohberger was eager to make friends, neighbors say, and so chatty, one sometimes dodged him. I've had neighbors like that. I actually have a neighbor like that right now the guy, like every time he walks by my windows, he's like peering in. I have to make sure the shades are closed. Or when I come outside or when I pull up in my car, his door just opens instantaneously at the same time. He's like, oh, I just happen to be coming outside. And he's just like always watching me, always wanting to say hi, watching my every move. And every time I talk with him, he keeps talking and talking and talking and talking. And even as I start to walk away and edge away, he'll still start talking and following me and slowly edging with me. He doesn't get the social cues that I don't want to talk. For residents who aren't undergrads, bouncing between parties and Greek life, living in the college town of Pullman, Washington can feel isolating. So when Arun Dash, a 28-year-old engineering student at the Washington State University, got a new downstairs neighbor in his Steptoe Village apartment complex in August, he understood why the stranger was eager to make friends. Dash said Bryan Kohberger, who investigators have charged with killing 4 students at the nearby University of Idaho in November, went out of his way to introduce himself and try to make plans to hang out. He asked me where I was studying and where I'm from. Dash, who moved to Pullman from India for his studies, said he would make just friendly, small talk. On December 30th, when law enforcement officials charged Kohberger with the killings, the portrait of a loner, a gruff student of the criminal mind who kept to himself, began to form. But interviews with Dash, his roommate, and others who casually knew Kohberger paint a different picture. One of a man who wasn't always introverted and could sometimes have an outgoing demeanor that left people feeling impressed or put off. Popping in and out of Pullman coffee shops, dropping by local craft beer establishments, and attempting to hang out with his neighbors, Kohberger didn't stand out as unhinged, but rather as a sometimes chatty guy whose lengthy conversations might throw a wrench in his neighbor's days. It looks like this guy's trying to fit in, trying. Kohberger lived beneath Dash and his roommate in a boxy unit in a Steptoe Village Apartments, a popular development that houses graduate students. It is on a wind-swept hilltop cut with roads and surrounded by similar style buildings near the Washington State University campus. Most residents in the village are foreign exchange students, many with families. In the back of Kohberger's building is a small children's playground. In the front is a large blacktop parking lot. Dash's roommate, who asked Insider not to name him out of fear of harassment and true crime community sleuths, said Kohberger gave him his phone number repeatedly. Said Kohberger gave him his phone number repeatedly and suggested that they socialize. He talked to everybody. He was a very chatty person, not charming, but outgoing. The roommate said he would ask me to hang out, just kept asking me over and over and over. One day, the roommate suggested to Kohberger that they work out together. He seemed like a very fit person, so I asked him if he wanted to come to my gym with me. He said. Kohberger declined because he had a commitment. Later, Kohberger asked the roommate, go grab some coffee together, man. Let's hang out. Let's talk. Get to know each other. This time, the roommate had a commitment. It's like that game people play, when they're trying to. Kohberger continued striking up conversations each time they passed each other. Kohberger explained that he was from Pennsylvania and even liked living in eastern Washington, the neighbor said. Over time, though, the man started to avoid Kohberger if he saw him coming, not because he didn't like him, but because their talks tended to drag on. He said that when he saw Kohberger's approach, he would quicken his step to appear in a hurry, so he wouldn't look awkward to give Kohberger a passing hello, rather than fall into a conversation. I know if I start, he won't stop, he told the Insider. Kohberger's relationship with his downstairs neighbors, a couple with small children, was less friendly. Angela, he described him as an insomniac who kept him awake at night by pacing intermittently, running his garbage disposal sometimes until 4 a.m. What in the hell are you disposing and running and pacing back and forth in your house until 4 a.m.? She said she considered having words with Kohberger, but decided not to, in the hope that he would be equally gracious if her crying children ever kept him awake. Outside his apartment complex, Kohberger didn't stand out to many. Keisha Julius, a bartender at The Land, the closest bar and restaurant to his apartment, told Insider she'd have to crane her neck back to make eye contact with Kohberger, who stands 6 feet tall, when she served him, looking up. But she said she remembered him simply because of his height and last name of his credit card. He was normal, just your average day guy. A server at a brewery in Pullman also remembered Kohberger stopping in, but nothing standing out as particularly odd. Many who knew him more closely, though, have now taken steps to disassociate from the heinous crimes investigators have charged him with. At Wilson Short Hall, where Kohberger studied on campus, his photo hung in a first-floor frame display of criminology students. By Friday, January 6, a blank space in the montage was ripped. Paper inside indicated that his photo had been torn out. Several professors of criminology declined to speak with Insider. A criminology student named Emily, who asked to be identified only by her first name, they'll still find her, had Kohberger as a teacher's assistant. She said he had been gruff and difficult to deal with early in the semester. After the killings, though, he seemed to lose interest in teaching, assigning his students to write essays and handing back uniform high grades. Afterward, he didn't grade at all. She said he was not a great TA. Nothing suspicious ever. In the days and weeks after the killings, fear tore through the college towns near the University of Idaho and WSU. Nervous residents awaited any news. Some left the communities altogether. In fact, Kohberger was one of the only few students who kept appointments at Pullman Medical Office after the crimes, a receptionist told the Insider. 4 days after the killings, Kohberger arrived at his appointment in his black North Face jacket and was so friendly with staff they took notice. Hi, how are you? I'm doing great. Ironically, this guy's acting normal after the killings, I guess. Well, there's other instances of people saying he acted normal before the killings too, but it goes to say with that whole pep in his step that others have referenced after the killings, which is crazy. The receptionist at the office, who declined to give her name because discussing the interaction might violate medical privacy laws, said, even though she's still doing it, said Kohberger acted so friendly that it prompted her boss to comment. She said, "He's so nice and charming." She never says that about anybody, the receptionist told Insider. I was like, yeah, he really was. Is he single? He scheduled an ordinary follow-up appointment for the spring semester. Dash 2 said Kohberger remained friendly in recent months and never went without missing his usual warm greeting. Nothing suspicious ever, said Dash. Dash's roommate said he presumed once his schedule cleared that he would grow friendlier with Kohberger. Yet, he became busier as the end of fall semester neared. So he began taking steps to cut short his interactions with his seemingly gregarious neighbor. This experience became friendly but not friends, is typical in the communities of Pullman and Moscow. Tyler, a 21-year-old native to Moscow, said residents in both communities were familiar with many but friends with few. Egan Brettston said he was particularly touched by the killings because Chapin was a regular at his parents' vape and pipe store in Pullman. Still, while recognizing faces is easy, making friends isn't, he said. If you really want to know this town, it's a lonely town. Egan Brettston told Insider, it takes a lot of effort to meet people here. You guys comment below, let me know your thoughts, hit the like button, subscribe, turn on the bell notifications. Just some quick thoughts because I still got this headache. Seemed like a loner type of guy, seemed like somebody that was looking for friends, socially awkward at times. Like just kind of overdoing it, overbearing it seems maybe at times, but then you have other occasions and other cases that people had no issues being with friends with him. I don't know, there's a lot of different mixed stories, and basically you probably wouldn't be able to tell that this guy would be the person that he is today, the things that he's done. But then again, when you look at those forms from the Tapa Talk, I think that gives a lot of insight if that's really him. And yeah, I don't know. Comment down below. Let me know your thoughts. Take care and peace. Bloop, 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 bloop.